Why, hello everyone! Fancy seeing you here with this wobbly cameraman. This is the fourth set in Group A, Hyuk versus Cal on Pathfinder. A lot of exciting games today. Two matches in particular, Calm versus Jadong and Shine versus Mind, are potentially group-deciding games, which means they'll decide the entire group, which two players move up into the round of 8. This is not one of those matchups, Cal versus Hyuk, but it could potentially knock out a player from this Group A. I wrote up my little who's screwed, who's not so screwed score sheet for today because day 4 is usually the first high-stakes day of the round of 16. Really high-stakes setups that could potentially decide the entire group and make the following matches irrelevant. But this should be a good Protoss versus Zerg. This is definitely Hyuk's specialty. But Cal's not too shabby at it either. Here we go. Except, down at the 8 o'clock position in red is Cal, up at the 12 o'clock in blue is Hyuk. Okay. Here's my who's screwed, who's not so screwed score sheet for this particular group. Alright. If Cal wins this game, if Cal beats Hyuk, he will guarantee himself a spot in the round of 8. Not only that, but he will knock Paralyze out of the OSL. Paralyze, his last game will be against Cal, of course, but Cal will have enough wins to do it, and Paralyze wouldn't be able to garner enough wins to move up. Because the next matchup, next week, starting it out on day 5, will be Flash versus Hyuk. The winner of that will have 2 wins, 1 loss. And Cal would have 2 wins, so it wouldn't matter what Paralyze would do. Even if he won, it wouldn't make a difference. Cal and the winner of Flash versus Hyuk would move up. So that could potentially be group deciding. Well, deciding for Paralyze anyway, and Cal. But if Hyuk wins this, it'll be a little bit more up in the air. Everyone will have a chance to move up through some kind of tiebreaker. We'll have a chance at an upper rung tiebreaker and a lower rung tiebreaker too. But yeah, if Cal wins, the winner next week between Flash and Hyuk will move up with Cal. It's as simple as that. So some pretty high stakes for this first matchup already. Alright, let's take a look at what the guys are doing. Looks like we had an overpull from Hyuk. Always strikes me as more of an aggressive player than many other Zerg I've seen. Even Shine. I mean, Shine is aggressive in his own right, but not nearly as aggressive as Hyuk. And Hyuk, this is his best matchup. I've talked about that before. He is stellar at that. Thank you, cameraman. Get the other camera out of the way. Ridiculous. But yeah, I expect Cal to have some troubles with Hyuk. Cal still might be able to beat Hyuk, though, because Cal is showing some great play recently. Very, very good play. I'm not sure if he snuck into the top 10 of the ELO Kespa ranking or whatever. Any kind of rankings. I'd be surprised if he wasn't in the top 10 at this point. Well, maybe he's 11 or 12. But he's way up there. Cal has maintained a consistent level of play, which is just excellent. See, the extractor not yet down for Hyuk, so he's probably going to take his third base soon. At his natural. He went out a little bit further. Oh, purple hair. I love purple hair. Yes, any kind of dyed hair. I don't know why, but it's really cool to me. I knew a girl in college who had this like double dyed, 2 different shades of blue in her hair, like light blue on the ponytail and like blue at the front. I dig it. So there's the natural expansion going down. And Cal is prepared at home with a single cannon out front and the gateway at the front to block. So going for a very standard Forge Fast Expand. I don't think Cal would have too much trouble if he went for a Corsair Reaver build. I was thinking about this before the match. That's probably Cal's best chance of taking down a player like Hyuk. I think that is the best build to use against Hyuk, actually. Because Hyuk has already shown that he's willing to go for that super defensive strategy that he used against Paralyze. I don't think it would work as effectively on this map, but he could definitely go for it again. But Corsair Reaver would help harass that strategy. It wouldn't let the Zerg player build up too many bases if they're being harassed by Reaver Scarabs all the time. Plus, if Hyuk goes for his Hydra Bust, which is really his bread and butter build, grouping up a ton of Hydras off of 3 bases, then pushing them at the front as quickly as he can, A Corsair Reaver build would still help against that. You'd have a couple of Reavers at the front shooting scarabs. You'd have to throw down a lot of cannons, of course, to protect yourself from the initial attack. But after that, you'd be pretty well off with a Corsair Reaver build. And especially on this map, where there's not a lot of maneuverability if you don't go for some kind of an air drop strategy or something like that. Yeah, Corsair Reaver, I'd say, is the way to go, so I hope that Cal goes for that. If he goes for the ground army, I think that Hyuk is going to flatten him. Alright. Of course, Hyuk, he could go for a Mutalisk build on this map, too. I think it's definitely viable to do that against Protoss on this particular map, but we'll see. Hyuk is always trying to shake it up. That last game where he faced Paralyzed was very surprising to me. I did not expect him to use that kind of a build. That's why I wasn't sure what he was going for at first. I was looking around, no Hydras. I was like, what the hell is he doing? He has Scourge all over the place, but no Mutalisk to back up the Scourge if he took down the Corsairs. I was very confused, but when I found out it was the Lurker defensive build, I thought, yeah, that's a great build for this map, Gladiator. So Hyuk has probably adapted a strategy for this map as well. We're going to figure out what that is soon enough. I haven't seen any Hydralisks at all, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be pumping them. There's Cal using a minimal defense, still only at one cannon, but he has those 2 Zealots there to protect himself, so he should be okay right now. The first Spire on the way. First Spire. Yeah, we're going to see a second and third Spire later. I've seen 2 Spires before from a Zerg player. It's usually against a mech build, though, when you want to get as many upgrades as possible. Probably not going to see the double Spire today. But Cal, I believe that's another cannon coming down at the front. Good timing on that cannon, because this is the point in the game in which he's getting the scout looking to see if Hyuk is going for a Hydralisk break. He doesn't see any additional Hydralisks, and he sees the lair, so that means he will be prepared. Of course, if the Protoss goes out and scouts, sees no lair, they know that Hydralisks are going to break through the front earlier than usual. So now that he sees the lair, he feels alright to take down that Overlord and prepare at home. He has a very standard opening from Hyuk. Going into second extractor, observers are pointing out the third extractor, but Hyuk not going for that yet, which probably indicates he's going to push the front with Hydras. Don't need a whole lot of gas with Hydras, but you do need two extractors from these three bases. I think that is +1 attack being upgraded for air. It could definitely be Dragoon range, but I don't think he would be upgrading that right now. There's Hyuk trying to get a surround on those Zealots unsuccessfully. And there is a robotics support base, so it looks like Cal is going for a Corsair Reaver opening. Smartly going for that, following Nuke's advice. I'm sure he heard me. In the past, across continents. I'm like in the Back to the Future or something. This is awesome. But, okay. Looks like Cal, he's going to push out, waiting for that leg upgrade, leg speed. For those Zealots, and Cal trying to protect all of his Corsairs. Looks like Hyuk did get a full scout on this. He sees the Corsair Reaver build, so he's going to know when to react. If he's going for a timing attack, he'll know what to do about that too. Now Cal eliminating the egg, just one of the eggs, not sure if he took down the second one or not, at the front just to make it a little bit easier for Dragoons and such to get out. That's actually pretty smart. He only made the choke big enough for the Zealots, but now that he's getting Dragoons, he's going to get rid of that egg, start pumping some Dragoons out there. And I've only seen one gateway so far from Cal, Citadel of Adun on the way for him. Of course, he doesn't need a very large ground army if he is going for Corsair Reaver. But Hyuk, he has caught on to this, getting some Scourge out to take down those pesky Corsairs and make this build a lot less effective. And Hyuk, it looks like he has a grouping of Hydralisks behind the main, like he's trying to hide them or something, or intercept the shuttle as it comes out. That's probably what he's trying to do, intercept that shuttle. Oh yeah, he's ready for that shuttle. He's trying to find it. It would be pretty bad, very, very bad actually, if that shuttle did get sniped on its first route to the main, but here comes Cal. And yeah, Hyuk is trying to find that shuttle. He's positioned himself here between the main. That's the perfect positioning because here comes Cal chasing off those Scourge actually, but Hyuk is en route with the rest of his Hydralisks. He's grouping up Hydralisks, it seems. He has little small groups of Hydralisks everywhere. So yeah, Hyuk is going for a Hydralisk break as he's grouping up these Hydralisks. Hopefully Cal is mindful of that, knows when to retreat and prepare for that, because if he doesn't retreat and have like 2 Reavers at the front, he's not going to be able to protect himself. Another cannon coming up. 3 cannons. Looks like Cal is preparing. But I'm not sure if he knows about all of these Hydras. Okay, now he's scouting the Hydras behind the base. He really needs to prepare and bring his shuttle home. And bring his Reavers home. Looks like he did bring his Reavers home, but yeah, seeing the amount of Hydralists that are out now, I'm pretty sure this is tipping Cal off, that he's got to throw down more cannons and prepare at home. Prepare his defense, because, okay, here comes Hyuk. Going for the Hydralist break. He has a lot of Hydras, whole lot of Hydras, and he's going to try to break the front now and destroy Cal. I mean, this is really his bread and butter build. He loves to go for this kind of build, and it's taken down many a Protoss player. It's all right, Cal. Cannon time. Oh, why is he going out with the shuttle right now? Oh, man. He's trying to harass. This is the worst time to harass Cal. He does get some drone kills, but he got to bring that Reaver back. He needs both of his Reavers to fight this off, definitely. His Reaver at the front got sniped by Hyuk. Hyuk took down that Reaver at the front. There's still only 3 cannons. I think Cal is building a 4th cannon. He does have 1 Reaver in, but I don't think 1 Reaver is going to protect against this. It's a massive onslaught from Hyuk. He takes down another Reaver. Cal is falling apart. He has 1 Reaver left, getting a nice scarab there, taking down some of the Hydras, but he was not prepared for this attack, and Hyuk just punished him dearly for it. Yeah, that's over for Cal. His precious little build being sniped. Nice timing there, too, from Hyuk right before the High Templar pop. Yeah, you can tell he practiced this all night long. Right before the High Templar pop, which means no storm at all to protect Cal, and no reason that Cal should not GG, because he has nothing to fight this off at all except 1 single Dark Templar, which was spotted because the Overlords were in. But that's GG. Nicely played by the Hyukmeister. So Hyuk has put himself in a great position to move out, and Paralyzed not out of this thing yet now. This group a little bit more up in the air, so I'm excited to see what happens next week in this group. But let's focus on today. Let's move on to Group B.